बार मलेशिया आने का मौका मिला है और हमारी मित्रता ऐसी है कि आपके कार्यकाल में मुझे चौथी बार आपको मिलने का मौका मिल रहा है। ये भी अपने आप में हमारी गति और सक्रियता दिखाता है। बीते वर्षों में हमारे द्विपक्षीय संबंधों ने जो गति और गहराई प्राप्त की है वो वास्तव में प्रेरणादायक है। इसमें आपके अमूल्य योगदान के लिए मैं हृदय से आपका धन्यवाद करता हूं। आज एग्रीकल्चर और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग जैसे क्लीन एनर्जी और सेमीकंडक्टर तक हर क्षेत्र में हमारा सहयोग गहरा रहा है। स्किल डेवलपमेंट और कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग में भी हम अहम साझेदार हैं। हमारा रक्षा और सुरक्षा सहयोग भी लगातार मजबूत हो रहा है। एक्सेलेंसी, आसियान की सफल अध्यक्षता के लिए आपको एक बार फिर से मैं बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। हमें विश्वास है कि मलेशिया के सहयोग से आसियान के साथ हमारे संबंध और अधिक गहरे होंगे और अधिक विस्तार होगा। एक्सेलेंसी, हमारे संबंधों की असली ताकत पीपल टू पीपल टाइज है। भारतीय मूल के लगभग 30 लाख मलेशियाई नागरिक हमारे देशों के बीच लिविंग ब्रिज है। कल आपके साथ मुझे डायस्पोरा से मिलने का भी अवसर मिला है। ये बहुत विशेष अनुभव था और मैंने देखा कि डायस्पोरा के लोगों का आपके प्रति जो व्यक्तिगत सम्मान है, आपके प्रति जो प्रेम है, वो कल दिख रहा था। मैं फील कर रहा था, बड़ा गर्व हो रहा था मुझे। आतंकवाद के खिलाफ हमारी लड़ाई में मित्र देशों का साथ बहुत मायने रखता है। एक तरह से एक्सेलेंसी, हमारा दृढ़ विश्वास है कि भारत और मलेशिया की समृद्धि एक दूसरे से जुड़ी हुई है। वैश्विक अस्थिरता के इस वातावरण में भारत और मलेशिया दो मैरीटाइम नेबर उसको अपने संबंधों की पूरी क्षमता का उपयोग करना जरूरी है। मेरी आज की यात्रा का मूल संदेश एकदम स्पष्ट है कि भारत मलेशिया के साथ मिलकर हमारे संबंधों को नए स्तर पर ले जाना चाहता है और सहयोग के हर क्षेत्र में विस्तार और प्रगाढ़ता लाना चाहता है। एक बार फिर मेरा और मेरे डेलीगेशन का इतना जानदार शानदार स्वागत करने के लिए मैं आपका और आपकी पूरी टीम का हृदय से बहुत बहुत आभार व्यक्त करता हूं।
That was Prime Minister Modi speaking in Malaysia on the second day of his crucial state visit to Malaysia, where key engagements are planned, including and key MOUs are likely to be signed on a range of fields such as defense, trade, as well as tech cooperation. And there he was speaking ahead of the bilateral with his Malaysian counterpart Anwar Ibrahim. And India-Malaysia ties are now reaching new heights. On the first day of Prime Minister Modi's Malaysia visit, it was packed with key engagements, a warm welcome by Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, who personally in fact received him at the airport, and after which Prime Minister Modi also addressed a large Indian diaspora gathering where he described the community as a living bridge bridge between the two nations. Today, at his speech, at his address before the bilateral talks with his counterpart, he again mentioned that the Indian diaspora, which is the largest Indian diaspora in the world, which is now in Malaysia, it acts as a living bridge between the two nations. Today, on day 2 of his visit to Malaysia, he is currently holding bilateral talks with his Malaysian counterpart, Anwar Ibrahim, and these bilateral talks are taking place at the Malaysian Prime Minister's office. We have Aditya Rajkol joining us on the phone line. Aditya, help us understand how crucial are these bilateral talks and what MOUs can we expect to be signed as part of this visit?
Well, yes, this is the second day of Prime Minister Modi's Malaysia visit in Kuala Lumpur. He was welcomed earlier today at the Perdana Putra building, which is the office of the Prime Minister of Malaysia. Of course, he was welcomed yesterday at the airport from Anwar Ibrahim, the Prime Minister himself, as a special gesture. And this is the day 2 of the meeting between the two leaders. There is a one-on-one meeting that has just concluded and delegation-level talks between India and Malaysia. What is slated now is the exchange of the MOUs between these two leaders. And later today, there will be an official, lunch hosted by Prime Minister of Malaysia for Prime Minister Modi. Now, Malaysia and India have had a very good relationship when it comes to trade, when it comes to security and defense cooperation. There's a very big Indian diaspora in Malaysia that plays a very critical role. And this is the third visit of the Prime Minister to Malaysia in the last 11 to 12 years. That began in 2015. As I spoke about the diaspora, there is 2.9 million people in Malaysia that we are talking about, the third largest Indian diaspora and the second largest person of Indian origin, PIO community in the world. So what we will witness now is some of the MOUs on trade, on people-to-people contact, and growing ties between India and Malaysia. We'll see both the leaders speak and address the media on what has been achieved in this. And Malaysia has been a very significant part of India's Act East policy, earlier known as the Look East policy. Now, over the last many years, we are looking towards the Act East policy, where we are looking at strengthening our ties with Southeast Asia. Now, ASEAN plays a very critical role in this region, and Malaysia is a key partner for India in the ASEAN and the Indo-Pacific region as well. So, of course, the bilateral trade, if we speak about with Malaysia, has reached about 19.85 billion in 24-25, and both leaders would be aiming to increase this in the backdrop of the global tariffs policy and the economic, changes that we have witnessed over the last 1 year.
You mentioned about maritime security, and you mentioned about how crucial Malaysia is as a partner for India in its Act East policy as well as in the Indo-Pacific. How important is this visit? You mentioned it's the third visit. How important is this visit considering the growing aggression of China in the Indo-Pacific as well?
Well, yes, China has had, good ties with Malaysia and has been trying its own hegemony in the entire region, especially in Southeast Asia. When it comes to trade, when it comes to, not abiding by the rules-based order, China has been criticized regularly. But you'd remember that last time during ASEAN, India was invited, but Prime Minister Narendra Modi, due to some reasons, was not able to attend. And that's why this particular visit was also pending. So both Prime Minister Modi and Anwar Ibrahim, the Prime Minister of Malaysia, share very good ties. And that's how India would want to take this forward with most of the countries around Southeast Asia, but particularly Malaysia, on building up the ties, because there's a huge Indian diaspora also that is present there and plays a very critical role in the rise of Malaysia. So,
right,
the both leaders have met, and the visit will be fruitful for both the countries. There is also ASEAN-India trade in goods agreement that is being explored, and there is a joint review of India-Malaysia Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement also that is underway.
Right, Aditya. You mentioned about a crucial, the fact that this partnership was boosted in the 2024. But before I come back to you, let's quickly listen into what Prime Minister Modi said ahead of the bilateral engagement with his Malaysian counterpart.
बीते वर्षों में हमारे द्विपक्षीय संबंधों ने जो गति और गहराई प्राप्त की है वो वास्तव में प्रेरणादायक है। इसमें आपके अमूल्य योगदान के लिए मैं हृदय से आपका धन्यवाद करता हूं। आज एग्रीकल्चर और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग जैसे क्लीन एनर्जी और सेमीकंडक्टर तक हर क्षेत्र में हमारा सहयोग गहरा रहा है। स्किल डेवलपमेंट और कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग में भी हम अहम साझेदार हैं। हमारा रक्षा और सुरक्षा सहयोग भी लगातार मजबूत हो रहा है।
Right, Aditya Raj Kaul continues to be with us on this significant story. Aditya, how the Prime Minister Modi said that UPI will soon also be in Malaysia in his remarks yesterday at the diaspora event in Kuala Lumpur. Talk to us about how important that will be.
Well, yes, when it comes to, India's role in technology and digital innovation, there has been a huge game-changing opportunity over the last 4 years, and Prime Minister Modi has been leading that charge, be it Make in India or giving focus to innovation and Atmanirbhar Bharat. Prime Minister has played a critical role, and here as well, he's speaking about his 4th meeting with Anwar Ibrahim, the Malaysian Prime Minister, over the last few years, where he, they have both tried to, bring the countries together. Prime Minister in his initial remarks also says that this demonstrates the momentum and the dynamism of the relationship and the pace and depth of the bilateral relation between India and Malaysia. UPI plays a critical role. There have been countries like UAE, France and others that have in fact implemented UPI, accepted it, and India's game-changing UPI is being applied as a model in many other countries as well. So Malaysia could be yet another country where UPI could be implemented, and that will be beneficial for the common people out there. As far as trade and agriculture is concerned, I think those are other areas where critical important developments could be witnessed, MOUs could be signed,
Aditya.
And there is a very important CEOs meeting that the both leaders could be addressing as well.